Back again with a movie review, and this time we're talking about No One Will Save You. Thanks for checking out the channel. My name is Josh, and if you click the thumbnail, hopefully you've either seen this movie or you're interested in checking out this little bit of a gem, I'm going to go ahead and call it, that came out on Hulu in September. So I'm a little behind, a few weeks behind getting this review out, as I did actually wait a little while to watch it because I had seen the actual trailer, thought it looked very awesome, very intriguing, because I am a fan of most horror things, but I'm also a little bit of a fan of, some like alien type things. And if you have seen the trailer, I don't think there's any spoilers in that, or even if you've seen like a thumbnail about it, there's theoretically some alien stuff that's happening in it. And it's just such a cool movie that even though I'm a little bit late, I really wanted to still review it to hopefully get some more eyes on this and hopefully get some more movies like this made. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Hulu's been doing okay recently. And by recently, at least in my mind, if we get 2 good movies out of them this year, that's awesome. And I do believe the other one was this year. Maybe it was last year. Prey, the Predator movie that came out, that also I thought was very, very good and very creepy and a very just solidly made movie. And very big surprise to me because I definitely read the synopsis and thought this was going to be a horrible idea, and then they completely subverted my expectations and made something really pretty awesome. This one was kind of the same, except the fact that I didn't think it was going to be not good. Actually, from seeing the trailer, I was like, that looks horrifying, and like all the best parts of different alien movies that I like, because I also am a big fan of, well, alien movies, but like found footage movies and different things like that. Like a lot of the lower end movies I like to see from people's perspectives. And what this movie did, and without really spoiling too much, I mean, there may be a couple things that you didn't pick up from the trailer, but I'm going to not give it away completely until we talk about the end, because that one's got to have a little bit of discussion if you've seen the movie. But what I really appreciate about this movie is it's just very well made to begin with. I mean, the look of it, the feel, it's a very comforting kind of movie, if that makes sense. I mean, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. The tint or the tone, whatever they're picking with it, is very, very kind of homey. I mean, it takes place, I'm not exactly sure of the time frame. I think it's modern day, but in some sort of a rural town. I don't know if it's middle America somewhere, some farmland, some more rural countryside. And it's a very nice community that you could very much so see yourself, or if you're from the country, or if you visited your relatives. It's a small, quaint country town that is actually seems very nice. I mean, everything is very well manicured. Everything just kind of looks very homey and well taken care of. But you basically see the whole movie from the viewpoint, more or less, of the main character, Bryn, who is played by Kaitlyn Dever, who I am unfamiliar with, but I am very familiar with now because she was freaking awesome. And she kind of had to be, because she was this whole movie, more or less. I mean, you have some special effects and you have some characters, but if you don't have this main person being the driving story, basically the driving story, I mean, that is us in the movie. I mean, you're following her, you're with her, it's a lot of her viewpoints. You kind of unravel things and experience things in the same time frame that she does, and you discover things about her and her past. She is a more or less kind of exiled, very quirky individual that also doesn't like to talk very much. That's something that will come up in this movie if you're unaware. There's not a lot of dialogue. Even as odd as that sounds, it doesn't feel like it's lacking, because the actual sound design in this is one I actually really wish I would have been able to see in theater, because you can hear things moving around and it's so impactful, because there is some like home invasion aspects to this, or abduction things that are going in there, and there's a lot of creepiness that happens. And again, I don't think it was a huge budget movie. It definitely wasn't hurting. Like, it looks really good, but they use their CGI and stuff sparingly, is kind of what I was getting at. Like, they don't overdo it where it's like not the full-blown, Independence Day, alien invasion, anything like that. It's like here and there, but you do see plenty of stuff. Plenty of stuff you'll see that will no longer really make you want to close your eyes. For a little while, at least. Either way, the fantastic graphics, everything was really there. The tension, the creepiness. Again, back to the story, you have basically more or less an exiled person, which you kind of discover the rationale behind, and it's a very interesting storytelling format where the director, I believe the same person, Brian Duffield, did a great job, but what he's trying to do is really get you involved and to like the main character, because you should. She's very likable, and you don't know why everybody doesn't like her, and you slowly discover why, and there's a lot of conflict that happens internally, even of like situationally what's happening, and then everything that happens with her. I mean, she's to the point of where she literally is pretty much alone in the world, and she just sustains by herself at her home, which is A very nice home, by the way. It's super immaculate. It's this cool, old, like, stuck in the 80s kind of style home. Not 80s like neon lights and stuff like that, but kind of like country 80s, if that's what it is. I can't remember the year. But it's very, very neat. She's kind of a seamstress. She makes all of her own stuff. She does all these different things. I think she actually sustains her business by mailing out clothing and things that she makes from home. But she's so alone and kind of ridden with anxiety and fear and like all these different things. Like, she seems like somebody that doesn't really ever want to leave the house, and it kind of turns out she may be kind of right to do that as the movie keeps going. But there's a couple things that happen, and ipso facto, bingo bango, all of a sudden there's just a visitor outside of her house that quickly gets inside of her house. And if you've seen the trailer, it's creepy. The thing moves fast and is super creepy, and the story just takes off from there. Basically, it's kind of like turns into a little bit of a survival thriller for her of trying to get out and survive and get away and then warn people. And then what kind of happens thereafter is very, very crazy and interesting, and I really kind of dug it. So I'm not going to give too much away just yet, just in case you haven't seen it. So my overall ranking for this one is currently, I think I have this in my top 5 movies of the year, which is pretty cool because I wasn't expecting it at all, just based off of not really hearing too much about it. And then all of a sudden it came out and I was like, I gotta check this out, and it just turned out to be freaking awesome. So I'm gonna give it, I think I'm gonna say right around an 8.5 in that range out of 10. That might change depending upon what else I see this year, but at the same time, that was such a quality movie. I will definitely watch it again, which is one of the higher things that I really value on my list of important things when I'm ranking movies. So this one was really, really cool. So I think there's going to be a lot of rewatch value in that one. So if you haven't seen it, I would definitely say check it out. And if you have Hulu, hey, it's already on there basically free. So just go check it out so we can get some more cool movies like this. All right, now, if you are going to continue to watch, I'm going to talk a couple spoilers here just real quick as we talk about how that kind of movie ended. So what the hell? Okay, that might be what you're saying to yourself if you have watched this movie as well, but it's such an interesting and weird thing about how those aliens, again, spoilers moving from here, so if you haven't seen it, you've been warned, about what the aliens are actually doing there. If they're, like, creating their own society or basically, like, their own diorama, kind of like she had in her house, like she was creating the small town, and replicating that. But I think there's a lot of way to interpret the end of this, right? And for me, I think it comes back to that the aliens kind of saw her as just this complete and utter outlier, no matter what they kind of threw at her or in her mouth to the little thing they were trying to get in there. She was very resilient and really fought back, and she was basically the alien in the society that she's in the town. And I think they ended up starting to respect her, but they were also there, through their various powers of advanced technology that they have, to be able to see herself talk to her younger self about the incident and kind of forgive herself and be able to start anew. And for her, I think it's just a clean slate, a new start. She was already going to do that in the middle of the movie. Like in the middle of the movie when people weren't really trying to listen to her, not even listen, but they were just going to spit on her. And when she's trying to warn them, she was just going to leave town and just start new. And you see, took a deep breath and exhaled, and you're just like, she probably wanted to do this for a while, even though that's a very scary thing to leave all you know. But I think it's a way for her to kind of win-win in certain aspects, where now she gets to live a life where the people aren't judging her for things of the past, however harsh they may be and things that may have happened, and she gets to stay in her familiar hometown that she really loves. So it's such a very cool kind of ending, and it's definitely open for interpretation, and I am just kind of making that up as my interpretation. But let me know what you guys think, if you've seen it, and what you think that ending actually represented. And if it differs from mine, that's awesome. You're probably right, or maybe there's not an actual right answer. Who knows? But let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. Let me know any other ones you want me to check out that are kind of like this, because this was awesome in my opinion. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Go hit that subscribe button if you would. That'd be fantastic. And as always, you're awesome. Peace out.